All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone finds the right link. Just an hour, a little over an hour ago, when I started getting things set up, OBS Studio had an update, and it caused the software to go wacky. And I was in quite a panic. I started to just jump to YouTube Studio, and anyway, it ended up creating several links for this particular live stream. The last link is obviously the correct one. So things are not as neat as I would normally like them to be. That said, happy Friday. I hope everybody is doing well. I see Fresno is here. Hopefully some others will show up at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right to it. This could go a little length of time. First, let me do all the housekeeping stuff that you're supposed to do that I don't always think to do. I'm really bad at marketing myself. I'm really poor at marketing myself. If you are watching this recording after the fact, subscribe and give it a like and give it a comment. All of those things are needed to drive the numbers up. The numbers are what drive the algorithms. Share the video or after the fact. You can't. It's nice if you share the link while it's going live. But if you think about it during the week or whatever, oh yeah, go back, pick up the video, and share it somewhere. I'm not on every platform. I do tend to put a link on Instagram and links on Facebook. I'm not really into TikTok. Hello, Andre. I'm not really into TikTok. There are Reddit, there's so many platforms out there, it's ridiculous. So if you think about it, share it. That also drives the numbers up, and it helps the algorithms propagate us. I also want you to, again, in terms of housekeeping, remember that we have the Good Martial is Universal number 3 coming up December 1st and 2nd. That's a weekend workshop. This time we actually have a main topic that's bridging. How you bridge, how do you use a bridge, what are the body mechanics and physics involved with bridging or creating bridges, not necessarily art specific, because it's good martial is universal. It's not style v style. So keep that in mind coming up. And then for today's topic, I wrote an article years ago. I can't even remember how many years. It's quite some time ago. And I have rewritten it once, or reposted it once since then. But websites change. I will redredge up at least one of the written versions, and I will post it on Facebook and on the articles page of the current website. And I entitled it Act, where I think the original title was The Defense Act. And what started the article in my head was wondering how many different ways you can be attacked. Bruce Lee and various Lao Tzu and all have various categorizations. Bruce Lee's famous for his 5 different ways that you can, or different ways that you can counter an attack. Single direct attack, attack by draw, eye hand hair immobilization attack, progressive indirect attack, things like that. I started wondering how far down could I narrow it? How few different ways are there for you to be attacked? And that's where I came up with this acronym, ACT. Let me kind of get my graphics in order here. Boom. I came up with this acronym, ACT. And at first we're going to look at the different ways that you can be attacked. And I classify it as only 3 ways that you can really be attacked. The first way that you can be attacked, or a way, not the first way, but one way, is by ambush. I was hoping to look up a video today, show an ambush, one in particular that comes to mind. But again, all the business with OBS software ate up my time. But an ambush, by definition, is unseen and usually an overwhelming force. The overwhelming force may be because it's unseen. There is a particular video out there of a young lady who's getting ready to descend some stairs, and this is closed circuit. This is not a replay or a remake or anything like that. This is a live action thing that happened. She's getting ready to descend some stairs in a subway, and a guy comes out from around the corner and just kicks her in the back. She doesn't even get to see him. She's 2 or 3 steps down, and he just comes up from behind and kicks her in the back. That's an ambush. And honestly, in terms of your training, there is not a lot you can do once you have been ambushed. Hopefully your training will allow you to, if you are recoverable, that is, if you're not knocked unconscious, if you can recover from the situation, your training can give you something to do. I will get into what you can do with your training specifically, but understand there is not a lot you can do about an ambush. The most cruel of ambushes would be with a rifle from about 100 yards. You'd never see them. You'd feel the bullet, and then you'd hear the report, and you'd fall over. There's not a lot you can do about that. I'm thinking of, in particular, 3 or 4 years ago, the guy in Las Vegas sitting up at a 3rd-story hotel window overlooking a country concert going on outside. Pop, pop, pop. That's an ambush you can't do a lot about. But that is one way you can be attacked, is by ambush. The second way that you can be attacked is, I call it close up. They're in your face, they're in your grill. They have made it clear the fight is going to happen. You know there's an attack. A punch may not have yet been thrown, but you know it's going down. At least that's a little better than an ambush, but it's still not ideal. I have talked about this before. Body language will tell you a lot. One, obviously something is going on. They either want something or this is a street fight. By street fight, I mean it's a pissing contest, or it's self-defense in that they want money or they want you or something of that nature. If they want something, they will tell you what it is, and 9 times out of 10, if it's not you or a person, Just giving it to them will diffuse everything. That is where their attention is. I've talked about it before. If they say, give me your wallet, if you just chunk your wallet at them, that's what they want. That's where their attention is focused. Their eyes will follow that wallet. And if you kind of toss it in their face, they will follow it, and they will try and get that wallet. They will stop worrying about you. If they're up in your grill, if it's just a pissing contest and you're up in your grill, then body language will tell you something. You should not allow them to get too close. If you take a step back and they take another step in, and you take a step back and they take another step in, okay, then it's obvious they intend to fight. You can also tell by, I talk about this in class, if they're standing like this, you see this happen, they mean something. They mean to fight for whatever reason. What you should do, we'll get into that. This is the second way. So the first way that you can be attacked is ambush. The second way you can be attacked is close up. It has to be close up. And the third way that you can be attacked is taunt. Taunt or tease. It does not have to be so close. It could be from across the street. I use the word taunt on this screen, but I also, in the article, I'll say taunt or tease. They are the same thing. Calling your mama names, calling you names. What they are trying to do is get your dander up. They're trying to get you riled up. They're trying to get you to stop thinking, to focus strictly on them. They're trying to get you to not be aware of your surroundings. They may be taunting you to set up an ambush. They may have friends or cohorts who are flanking you while you're focused on and yelling at whomever. Those are fundamentally the only three ways you can be attacked. Ambush, or an attack right up in your face, or a taunt, which may be setting up an ambush, or it may be just trying to rile you and bring you into their arena. Maybe they're really good punchers, and so they're trying to rile you, but make sure you stay at distance so that you're in punching range. Or maybe they're really good grapplers. They're trying to rile you and make you not think, so that they can inch up closer and closer and closer to where they're in grappling range, because that's where they excel. That's it. Those are the only three ways that you can be attacked. So, what can we do about these three ways of being attacked? In terms of ambush, what we can learn to do is have awareness, to be aware. You can train this to some degree. I have in class at times trained, turn the lights off in the middle of training. Turn the lights on and off in the middle of training. I've put spotlights, turn the lights off and threw on spotlights so that people are glared. One, that helps kind of condition for an ambush to some degree. I recently did a dizzy, had the guys get real dizzy and find out how to fix that, which would be recovery from an ambush. But the main thing is, in my opinion, is learning to relax. By being relaxed in any given situation, your awareness is open. Your eyes are open. Your ears are open. If you are in a new city, your ears should be open, and your eyes should be open, and your head should be on a swivel. You should not be looking at your phone. You should not be reading a newspaper in a corner, street corner that you don't know where you really are. Being aware and being obviously aware alerts the potential attacker. That's not somebody who they want to attack, especially the ambush type, the type that are just looking to do. Well, a couple of years ago there was a big punch, and I can't remember what they called it, but they would just run up behind people and just sock them, see if they could knock them out. But they're not going to do that for somebody who sees them coming. They were looking for the people who were not paying attention. So your biggest defense against ambush is awareness. It still will not be perfect. If somebody really wants to ambush you, they will find a way. But the more aware you are, the more you can mitigate those situations. Yeah, the knockout game, that's what they called it, the knockout game. Stupid kids. Pardon me, but so let's look at what we tend to train for, and that's the number 2 of the kind of attack, the close-up attack. The answer to a close-up attack, they're in your grill, is to cover up. And in my case, because I do Wing Chun, I say cover up and close the gap. I throw in close the gap because it does begin with a C, so it works really great with the acronym, and because it's in the cue it. Meet what enters, stick to it, and escort it away, close the gap, or fill the gap, or fill the void, depending on your translation. Cover up is good enough. Cover up is essential. Even if you're going to close the gap, you're going to even if you're closing the gap, you're going to cover up. You want to cover up. Hands up, hands up, hands up, whatever. Whatever, go Muay Thai, I don't care. Whatever approach you want to use, you've got to protect the computer. You've got to protect the computer. So when they're up in your grill, as I mentioned earlier, take a step back. If they advance again, and by take a step back, I always advocate taking a step back into a stance, creating an angle, and hands up. Cover up. And if they advance again, then they're clearly stating their intention. You have a pretty good idea the fight is on. I am very much a belief, in terms of the street, in counter offensiveness. That is, I really want the opponent to prove that they intend to attack. I understand the Jeet Kune Do overzealous idea of you're going to strike first, but the guy may mean no more than getting up in your grill and yelling at you. And if you hit him first, then it's there's a moral question of who was in the right and who was in the wrong. I want to see a body movement, a flinch, a shoulder, a balled up fist. I want to put my hands up. I want to step back. And then if they move, they flinch, then it's time to go. I may get the first hit in, but it will have been a situation where, because I have taken at least one step back, and they advanced again, and they had a balled fist or something in their hand, or they were reaching in their pocket for what might be a knife or something, I would feel confident that if there's any video cameras around, the court would side with me. My main concern, though, not being the court, it being my morality, my soul. If I hit somebody for real, if I hurt somebody for real, I need to feel that it was justified. So your defense against number 2 is to cover up. And then all the training, and it's a funny thing, all of the training that we do tends to be in this zone. In the fight is on close in zone, where we really need some awareness training to prevent the ambush. And in a minute we're going to talk about the taunt and tease range. If we deal with an ambush and taunt and tease, we're not going to have as much of a problem with close up. But this is where we train the most. So keep that in mind. Most of your training goes here, and so there's not a lot to talk about. Once your hands are up, your hands are up. If they swing, it's time to go. The show is on. So then we get to that third form of attack, which is taunt or tease, to which my response is tactics. When they're sitting there 5 feet from or more from you, yelling at you, calling you names, trying to goat you, trying to get your dander up, or trying to suck you into their, trying to get you to jump into their gang, or whatever the case might be, you need to start laying tactics. And this is why I say relaxation is important, and good study in this would be helpful. Being able to look around and go and see, do they have friends? Are their friends moving? Are their friends the kind of friends that would actually help them with this fight, or might they run if things go bad? Or are some of their friends flanking off? If they're flanking off, I need to watch my back. I don't need to worry about the guy yelling so much. I need to worry about his buds. Is there a dumpster that's in my way if I should try to run? Is there an escape route? Is there a way out? Is there something in the way? Is there a curb that I might trip over? Is there something in his way that I could use? If the fight goes on, can I push him into a dumpster? Can I push him over the curb where he trips? Is there something that I can pick up? You can only do that by being aware of your entire environment. You have to relax and not let their attempt to get your blood pressure up get your blood pressure up. Don't let them do to you what they obviously are trying to do to you. Okay? For one of my black sash tests in JKD, I was fighting a guy with a sticks, collie sticks, and I lost my stick, and he came down for a headshot. I took it in the arm, but I also had to be aware where the stick was inside the space and maneuver myself to be able to get enough distance where I could pick the stick back up, only because I felt I needed to. You might not need to. I talk about when we're doing knife work, I talk about in grappling, it's a horrible thing to grapple somebody with a knife, because you have no idea who's going to use it. And everybody's, especially since both of you are down on your legs or knees or back, both hands are free, knives are quickly switching from one hand to the next, and it's easy to concentrate on where the knife is and forget a punch, or bad stuff happens. You have to, during the taunt or tease, just like during that kind of grappling situation, you have to relax and open up your vision to what's entirely around you. So, in summary, those are or running vertically are the three ways that you can be attacked: ambush, close up, or taunt or tease. And running horizontally, those are the three ways you deal with those very forms of attack: by having awareness, covering up when the fight's on, and if it's possible, start laying tactics. The most important thing of all of this, is that you act. You do something. You don't do nothing. We were talking in class recently about the natural instincts of fight, flight, or freeze. Freeze will not do you any good in an ambush. It won't do you any good in a close-up fight. It won't do you any good if you're being taunted. Flight might do you some good during a taunt if you have determined you can flee. That there is a clear avenue and that you can outrun the individual. I'm old. Anybody under the age of 53, 55 who wants to get into a fight with me, I probably cannot outrun them. I probably cannot go fast enough or long enough. Now, I might be able to determine I don't need to go very fast or very long. If one building down is the police station, just an extreme example, I don't have to go real fast or real long. All what I have to do is go. My ex-wife, both my ex-wives, were attacked at different times. The first one handled it poorly. I will not discuss her. The second one, a wonderful human being, she had her wits about her and started yelling, "Man!" It was late at night. Well, not super late, like 9 o'clock. She was coming out of the grocery store. She was approaching her car, and a guy popped up. And she just started yelling very loudly, "Man, man, man." It was the first thing that came to her mind. Some training there would have been better choices, but she did something. She acted, and that brought out the manager, and the guy was gone. On that note, for especially like Fresno and anybody who's doing any teaching, I read a report about 8 to 10 years ago, a psychological study. We have a problem, especially in the United States, where violence has become, well, in most of the world, violence is fairly ubiquitous. I mean, it happens everywhere. But in the United States, some violence, especially between men and women, tends to be... People have a tendency to turn away. We are a litigious society, and so when somebody's out in the park yelling, "Help, help, help," we tend not to help. They found that the thing to yell is fire. And so this is what I teach everybody. If you are in trouble, do not yell "help" or "man." Yell fire. Fire is a communal threat. And so we are all inclined to respond to fire because it threatens all of us. Versus any one person yelling "help" about another person. Are they playing a game? Is it domestic? Do I want to get involved? All that kind of stuff happens. An example being about 8 or 10 years ago, a young lady who in a pool room was raped on the pool table. She was yelling "no, no, no," but everybody there in that kind of culture thought that was just part of it. She might have got a different response from some non-onlookers if she had yelled "fire." So that's that's a good thing to teach, especially considering when you were in the taunt or tease stage, if you can run from the taunter, or even in the close-up stage, if you have determined you can tactically run and or yell as a defense. Yes, 1983, word was fire, they will all come to look. Yes, everybody will come and look. And someone you have, the more lookers you have, the more chance you have that somebody will respond. Help people tend to turn away from. So there you have it. The 3 ways you can be attacked: ambush, close up, taunt or tease. The ways you deal with those: awareness, cover up, tactics, and above all, act. Do something. Any questions or thoughts, guys? We've been at it for a little over, right at 30 minutes now, which is about how long I want to keep these things. Any questions, any other thoughts, let me know. I'm having, and Fresno, I know you mentioned about my meta tags, and I've looked at the meta tags on YouTube, and I've tried changing them and altering them, and I think the primary thing on YouTube right now is the algorithms favor the channels with the higher number of subscribers and the videos with the higher number of viewers. Of course, on live you don't have a lot of likes or anything like that at the time because it's live. Although the algorithms are smart enough and fast enough to look back and go, oh, well, at the past live event, this guy had 3 viewers, whereas Sifu Fu had 30 viewers, or Izzo had 80 or 100. So the algorithms are always going to favor the higher numbers. But the algorithms ultimately are designed over time to generate high numbers. So if you guys have any thoughts or can share the videos or anything like that on how we can alter the meta tags, the metadata, to improve the numbers, just because I'd like to have much more robust discussions through the chat feature. To me, that is the coolest thing. Me sitting here and talking for 30 minutes like I'm on Mount Olympus doling out the stuff. I would enjoy give and take, back and forth. But that will do it for this Friday. And for future Friday's food, if you have a topic that you want to discuss, if it pops up in your head on Wednesday, you know where my channel is, and in the About section of the channel, there's like 5 different links by which you can reach me. There is a way to find me. I am not like a lot of YouTubers where you can't get in touch with them. There is a way. There's the email and my website and Facebook and Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Tons of ways you can get in touch with me. If you think of a topic, let me know. Let me know. Other than that, y'all have a great Friday evening. And I hope you have a great weekend. And since there won't be a Friday Foo until after Thanksgiving, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. And keep on training.